Hi class 9 students, how are you? I believe that you all are fine at home and safe. Okay, convey my loving regards to your parents and family members. And we are on the process of your regular classes now. And today I am here to take your biology class. And the lesson is fifth lesson, that is fundamental unit of life. So before beginning this chapter, I just want to take you back to class 8, lesson 8. So there we have studied very detailed about cell and the different types of cell, different characteristics of cell, the organelles of the cell and their function. These are things we have studied. And in this class, we will study more detail, even better way than the previous class. So that's why the chapter explains the same unit, that is cell. Here, fundamental unit of life that refers to a cell only. And let us go back through go to the chapters through different points that we are going to study. And this chapter will be completed in 1 or 2 or 3 episodes of video classes. So in this first episode, we will discuss these points. First of all, we will study about the history of cell, the invention behind the history behind the invention of cell. The cell is first discovered by Robert Hooke in 1665, a biologist, and he called it a cell, and cell means in Latin language a little room, a small room. And when it is compared, the cell is compared with a very multi-developed organism. It's just like a cell only, just a room only, like a huge building. So here, he discovered the cell in 1665. Later, many scientists have come with new technologies and inventions, and they have discovered more details about the cell, like the inner matters of the cell. Later on, other scientists have also discovered. So anyhow, that is the history of the invention of cell. Now, we studied in junior classes, organisms normally exist in a single cell form also, microscopic form, and sometimes organisms have more than one cell. Millions of cells they have. Such organisms are called multicellular organism, and the organism which has got only single cell in its life, which conducts all its physical activity. Such organisms are called unicellular organism, and the organisms which have got a numerous number of cells, they are called a multicellular organism. And here the important point you have to note down is, though it is a multicellular organism, basically that particular organism has grown up, developed from a single cell only. The beginning of this multicellular organism also begins from a single cell. That's the basic thing you have to understand. It means every organism starts its life with a single cell. That's why the topic heading says cell is the fundamental unit of life. One more reason is there that we will study on the head, and this is the next point we will learn this from chapter. And second thing is, the cell of a multicellular organism is of having different shape, different size and different terms. So that's why the size and shape of a cell of an organism is related to the specific function that it has to perform in its body. Different cells have got different functions to perform. So based on the particular function it has to perform, the size and shape of the cell is designed. So that's why the shape and size is not same in every cell, that differ from each other. Depend on the function it has to perform in its body. And the next point is, living cell has the capacity to perform certain basic function. That is, a cell is not having a very minute function of being a part of the body, but it has got certain very specific function to perform in. So these specific functions are in supporting the life of this particular organism. That's why every living cell has got each living cell has got a very specific ability to do some very specific function in the body. Depends upon that the size and shape of the organism is, cell of the organism is modified. Now, next one term is that division of labor. What is division of labor? Let's think about a huge business concern, establishment. There are many concerns, many branches, many subdivisions. It all together create a big concern. Let's go back to a school itself. A school is not merely office. A school is not merely class 9. A school is not merely class nursery. But it is consisted of different classrooms, different teachers, different works and subjects are there. So that is a comparison, that means division of labor. Same like in human organisms body, the different activities are carried out, performed by different types of cells, different areas of the organ. So this is what division of labor. Let's see, in a human being's body, there are many such life activities are present. For example, respiration, digestion, or circulation. So many such type of activities are performed, and these all activities are carried out not by a single cell, not by some particular cell. It is carried out by a particular group of cells. Group of cells, they undertake particular function of the body. So this is what called a division of labor. The entire activities of an organism's body is distributed among different organs, cells, and they together perform different activities. This particular procedure is called what? Division of labor. So that's why the total activities of the body is distributed among different systems. So that is what called the division of labor. Next one is cell organelles. When you study closely inside the matters of a cell, we can find out many such parts, components by which a cell is constituted. So here we are going to study the main 3 important parts of a cell that are called organelles. There are many parts are there, they perform different functions in the particular cell. But here in this class, we will study only about 3 of those main parts. So that are, first one is plasma membrane or cell membrane. Its name is plasma membrane or cell membrane. What is that? Plasma membrane or cell membrane is the outer covering, boundary wall of a cell by which its components are included. So the outer covering of a cell is called what? Plasma membrane or cell membrane. And here cell wall. Cell wall is an additional hard, rigid, tough covering which is present only in plant cell. Out of the plasma membrane, an additional covering is also made in plant cell. This particular covering is called a cell wall. So in effect, all those things are performing the same thing, only to bound up the cell, to make the cell with a boundary. This is what a plasma membrane, cell wall. Plasma membrane is present only in animal cell, but in plant cell an extra, more than plasma membrane, an extra covering also is there, that is called a cell wall. Next one is nucleus. What is nucleus? Nucleus is the center point, main component, head, governing, controlling unit of the entire cell. It is performing just like the function of our head. Our whole body activity is controlled by the brain. Same way, nucleus is the main component of the cell which interacts, which correlate, which coordinate the different activities within the cell. So nucleus is the office. So here nucleus contains chromosomes. Chromosomes are particular proteins which conduct all cellular activities, and it has got other component that is called DNA. DNA is the very chemical protein component which includes all the informations from the parental cell, how the cell should be arranged, so organized. This information is called DNA, and DNA contains genes. Genes are those chemical components which carries information from the parents how the activities of the cell should be, the formation of the cell should be made. So these are the other things which are found where in nucleus. So nucleus has got a main three things. What are they? Chromosomes, DNA and genes. And the next important part of the cell is cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is those fluid components, a main body of the major portion of the cell is included, that is what a cytoplasm. It is a fluid component which is the background, base for all other organelles to perform. It's a medium, that it's a ground support for all other organelles to be present in the cell, and it interacts with all other, the medium to communicate, the medium to transport the things through within the cell. That cytoplasm is the major body, major part of the cell. So cytoplasm plays such many important functions in the cell, which helps the other organelles to interact, which helps the communication, as it gives a background support to all the other organelles to perform its activities within the cell. That is what a cytoplasm refers.